was the greatest fight in boxing history.
Everyone underestimates them. They think they can win until they're in the ring with them.
He was a fighter who would take on all challengers. He would move up several weight classes and challenge the very best. He was a serious threat to anybody.
Roberto Duran was plucked off the humid streets of Panama City. He was so poor, he has to steal to eat. One day, a farmer catches him taking fruit. Rather than send for the police, the man sent Roberto to a boxing trainer.
The experience of being in very difficult situations daily, living with pain every day, it's not a stretch to walk into a boxing gym.
He had it. Whatever it is that makes a fighter special, it caught the most educated pair of eyes in boxing history. Duran lost his first 3 fights. It would be the last time for almost 12 years. Ray Arcel worked his magic.
I always felt that there was no one could beat him. I told him one time, I said, if you fought the heavyweight champion of the world, you could win.
Duran would later say, "I'm not God, but I'm something similar." Join me as we try to figure out exactly what he became. As always, click that like button and subscribe to stay up to the minute on all sweet science. Duran took his first title off of 43-1 Scottish lightweight Ken Buchanan. Duran came in as a 2-1 underdog. Though he'd risen to the cream of the crop in Panama, Duran was still getting his feet wet on the world stage.
Throwing everything.
The fresh-faced maniac took it to the much taller champion with his instinctive inside fighting and relentless pressure.
Oh, he really hurt him that time. A left and 2 torrid rights, and he's still after him.
Over 13 vicious rounds, Duran broke him down.
And there's a swelling above the left eye of Buchanan.
But in a nod to his street fighting roots, Duran won the title on the slickest low blow in boxing history.
Buchanan went down after the bell, claiming a low blow.
Duran celebrated his title victory with the people of Panama. It was too much of a good thing.
Come out somewhere else. Come on.
He turns up for a tune-up fight, ill-prepared. Like him, Esteban was a rising newcomer on the world scene. Duran took him lightly at 140 pounds, up until a massive left hook dropped and embarrassed the macho champion.
And he is smiling.
Duran spent much of the night second-guessing himself.
Jesus smartly boxing his way out of this. He was in trouble.
Duran fought hard, but the damage was done. Esteban boxed beautifully and decisions the champion to take the 0 off his record.
Ending the victory streak of Roberto Duran, who had scored 31 fights.
De Jesus earned his crack at the title. He traveled to Panama to challenge Duran in his own backyard. Just like in the first fight, De Jesus shifted his way in and leveled Duran with a left hook early. But this wasn't the half-assed 140-pound Duran. This was angry, vengeful Roberto Duran with a chip on his shoulder. Duran got up as if it never happened. Esteban came to fight, but nobody in history outfights Roberto Duran at lightweight. In round 11, Duran threw a devastating right hand to finish off the night. 4 years later, they met a third time. This is motivated, demonic Duran. His thoughtless, reflective counters underpinned by a genius feinting game and inside fighting. This might well be the best lightweight who ever lived. But the second phase of Duran's career begins with the weight jump. He skips past 140 pounds, instead going straight for welterweight superstar Sugar Ray Leonard. Ray was not only destroying good fighters, but also box office records with his showy style. While Ray was just getting a gold medal in 1976, Duran had already ground the lightweight division into dust. What took place might be the single best fight in history. Duran came out on fire, feinting his jab and finding perfect counters for everything Ray showed him. A left hook saw Ray rocked early on, with Duran dominating the showman for much of the early fight. Duran's ring cutting and infighting kept Ray on the ropes. For all his outrageous athletic ability, Leonard had never seen an animal like Duran before. Roberto spent the final round clowning one of the best welterweights ever.
I can't believe it! It's over!
One of the most beloved fights of all time was followed by one of the most notorious. After the brawl in Montreal, he returns to Panama a conquering hero. Spends the months after the fight partying with his countrymen. While Roberto hit the bar and buffet, Ray hit the gym. Roberto was badly out of shape when he got the call for the rematch. Still, the fight was neck and neck.
He is working Duran effectively.
When Roberto utters the two most famous words in boxing history, "No mas." It was unthinkable. For nearly a decade, he was beloved in his country, but with those words, Roberto went from national hero to national embarrassment. Duran would slowly start to earn that respect back. Duran went up again to 154 pounds to challenge a young champion. Davey Moore seemingly came out of nowhere. In just 12 fights, Moore had already captured the 154-pound title and defended it 3 times. Duran met him in his backyard. Davey lived and trained minutes from Madison Square Garden. The beating that Roberto Duran put on Davey Moore is legendary. Whatever magic allowed Duran to beat Leonard was turned up to 11 against Davey. It was June 16, 1983, Roberto's 32nd birthday. After beating Davey, the crowd sang its champion happy birthday. Duran went up once more, this time challenging middleweight great Marvin Hagler for his title. Duran was a long shot.
Duran was holding on. Duran with a short right.
Now 25 pounds above his career weight, aging by the day, it looked like a cash-out fight. Somehow Duran had enough left to hang with
Wide
Hagler.
open for the shot. We're halfway through the 6th round. Duran with a right and left inside. We're halfway through the 10th.
Earning the respect of the champion and becoming one of 3 men to survive Hagler.
Head for the belt.
But you got to give me a little credit there too. Nobody's ever knocked Duran out, so you really don't go for it.
His final magical night came in the fight of the year of 1989. After Hagler retires, Iran Barkley takes the title by smashing Tommy Hearns.
With Duran, he's a 3-time champ and everything. He has no respect for me, and I ain't gonna have any respect for him.
Roberto shows up at 37 years old and puts on a dazzling performance of all-around skill. Always outweighed and outsized, Roberto used every veteran trick in the book to hang with Barkley. The world wondered about Duran taking Barkley's signature left hook. The world got its answer. Duran's sweat explodes off him and his foot slips. But that was it. Duran came back. In the 11th, a vicious combination, Duran took the scorecards and middleweight title.
Roberto is a legend, you know, so quite naturally, I got to take my hat off to the man. He's a good man.
Without question, the most accomplished boxer alive today, his outlandish 32-year career was actually cut short by a car accident. His staggering 103-16 record is unmatchable in the modern era, from Mike Tyson to Jorge Masvidal. Roberto Duran wasn't a god. He's just your favorite fighter's favorite fighter.